Toilets to Titles is proud to present Title Time. And here's your hosts, Rich, George, and Jason.
And welcome to Title Time. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, not as always, is a couple of friends of mine. You've got a friend in me because I am hanging out in Andy's room. So, to my left or your right, we've got the Frito Bandito himself. Rich, how you doing this Sunday morning?
Beautiful. Another week 4. Now we're to week 4 football. Trends are starting to set and everything. So, but it's still a lot of tough sit questions and stuff like that. And some people have those starting lineups that you think would be studs and stuff, and they were still calling out those players because it's not going so well for them.
No, absolutely. Look, Calvin Ridley, week 1, awesome. Week 2, week 3, a dud. Week 4, touchdown already. Haven't even started the show. So we've also got, if you noticed, the guy below me there, not George this week. George went up to Georgia, is hanging out with some friends with his cousin and nephew who just graduated his training in Fort Moore. So with us this week is the sick but willing to be here, one of the co-founders himself, Justin. Say hi to the people, Justin.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I'm going to try my best to utilize this cough button as much as possible. And for what it's worth, I hate ESPN for always trying to get more money all the time. You can get the game on ESPN Plus right now, but I'm not going to pay that extra money for the Plus. So I've been watching the Disney Plus version of this game, and it's actually pretty entertaining. If you have kids that are of that age, and by of that age, I mean us 40-year-olds that grew up on Toy Story, it's kind of fun.
I will tell you that my son does not watch football. He's not a football fan. But I had it on in the living room, and he came out and sat and watched about 10 or 15 minutes of it with me before his attention span went elsewhere, for sure. But what really lost it for him is they're still working out the kinks, right? Like the ball being spot, and Calvin Ridley's touchdown looked like it fell to the dirt, but he actually caught it. So they're still working out some bugs. I'd say my graphics here in Andy's room is about as good as what they've got going on. You can see the pixelating, but listen, they're trying something new. I'm looking forward to the day when it's Star Wars or Marvel and maybe not Toy Story, but Disney owns it all, right? Like, so it'll be cool. Lights, they force control the ball down to where it needs to be. It'll be cool when they finally do stuff like that. So, hey, they got to get the younger generation. This is a great way to do that. And like I said, my son watched more football this morning than he's watched in the last 10 years. So kind of cool. Well, while everybody's getting into the chat and we're getting questions brought up, let's talk a little bit about the games today. There's some gross ones. There's one or two that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to leave it so you can pick your own team if you want, because George isn't here to be a homer. Rich, what game are you looking forward to this week?
Miami, Buffalo. Obviously, it's probably the highest scoring over under this week and everything. But me pulling at my hearts this week and everything is I'm also the Raiders and the Chargers game. Jimmy Garoppolo is not expected to play and everything. And rookie Aiden O'Connell is stepping into the limelight. And I'm really excited to see how he does and stuff like that. If he does decent and stuff like that, where it gives this a game, man, I'm really excited. Maybe that we probably stay with him for the rest of the year. If you want me to be honest with you.
Yeah, you mentioned, and a lot of Raiders fans think he's the future for the Raiders. I will be interested to see if that's the case. If he's got the juice, I picked him up and am starting him in our listener league in the Frankenstank. I picked him up this morning to start him because I had Jimmy Garoppolo on a forced trade from week 1. He's not playing. I wanted to start a second quarterback, and you know what? It's the Chargers. I think we can do okay things there. So I am starting him.
No, if I remember, you know what? I remember seeing it somewhere. I can't remember if this was you that posted it somewhere, but you did post that you would like to have any QB starting against the Chargers this week. Can't remember where I saw that at.
I'm sure I know I posted that. I talked about still in our first actual question. It's not a start sit, but we can get into it since we're talking about the game as it is. Do we still trust wide receivers with Aiden O'Connell? There's two I trust, right? Like Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams. And the nice thing about what the Raiders have been doing is they've been feeding 2 players. You haven't seen it go to their third or fourth wide receiver option. You haven't really seen it go to the tight end all that much. You've seen it go to Jacoby Myers, who's getting like a 30% target share. And you've been seeing it go to Devontae Adams, who's getting like a 30% target share. And when it's 2 players like that, yeah, I think I trust it. Now, Jacoby Myers, for me, a little bit less trustworthy, only because Devontae Adams is going to get the targets. Like he's a guy that demands targets. I don't know that Jacoby Myers is that way, and maybe Aiden O'Connell has different tendencies. But, with the way they've run that offense, I still am going to trust both of them this week. And, I do want to mention he's running a little bit late, but in being late, it's because he is a last-minute sub for George, who decided not to come back to Florida to do the show. So I'm going to introduce Josh Bigsby, generally aware guy who when he has time, and he's working on getting his headphones working, when he has time, puts out incredible fantasy football content. So he's gracious enough to join us as well, with Justin being a little banged up, a little nicked, a little sick, and then George being on the IR. We're lucky to have Josh this morning to be part of our Start Sit show. Good morning, Josh.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
I can hear you now. That's good.
Well, listen,
thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me on. I couldn't hear you at first. I had my settings on were not quite right.
Well, that's good, because I was talking all kinds of good things about you, and I never want you to hear that.
Good. I missed it all. Perfect.
Hey, real quick, breaking news. Deshaun Watson is going to be out of the game today. Rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be starting.
Oh, poor guy.
Let's see here. Wait, can you say that? I'm sorry, Rich. I was reading the questions over here. Give me that news one more time.
Yeah, so Deshaun Watson has already been ruled out for today's game. Rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson, yeah, is going to be starting today.
So what do you guys think about him as a start this week against the Ravens?
No thanks.
Tough matchup.
Yeah, no thanks.
He's got some juice on the ground, but yeah. I wish it was.
Go get Aiden O'Connell if you need a last second guy right now against that Bucs defense. If you're in a super flex and there's nothing out there.
All right, so we've got a question here. Brandon Williams says, "Am I wrong to start Kyron over Henry and Connor?"
Not so much.
Oh, go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
You're not so much wrong and everything. It's just look, Kyron's in the conversation now every week with Henry and Connor and everything. So it really depends on the matchup and everything. I do have Kyron starting in multiple leagues. I have Henry starting in multiple leagues. I don't have them together. But if I had to choose out of the 3, I think I am starting Kyron in at least over Connor, maybe not Henry.
Josh?
I don't think I have a problem with over Connor. I don't think he has the greatest matchup this week, but yeah, it's toss up. Henry hasn't done much either, and Spears is getting a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
So he's almost becoming a touchdown or big run dependent kind of back right now.
Yeah, I don't like the matchup. I mean, it's really about matchups, right? The Bengals defense has been pretty good against the run, not great, but good. The 49ers defense against Connor. Look, Connor played well last week against Dallas's D. I don't think they're going to have the same success against 49ers. I do have Kyron ranked one spot higher than Derrick Henry, actually. So I am going to go Kyron over both of those two. So I don't think you're crazy, because if you're crazy, I'm crazy too.
Yeah, I'm crazy too. Give me Williams. I think that Henry turf toe injury is a little bit worse than what they're leading to be, and that's why Spears is getting more go. And Spears is one of those guys. The more he gets playing, we saw this in college. The more he gets to playing, the more traction he gets. He really, like, his second half of his games were always better than the first. So the more carries he gets, the more he heats up. He's going to be lightning in a bottle here pretty soon.
All right, Dustin says, sadly working again this Sunday. One question I'm the only one that hasn't answered in Gilded. Start A-Chain or Roshan against Denver. I also have, I guess it's A-Chan. I guess he wants to be called A-Chan. Or Roshan against Denver. I also have B-Rob and Walker starting. So to me, this is floor versus ceiling. I think A-Chan is ceiling. He may only get a handful of carries, but those handful of carries can go for a lot of yards. Versus Roshan, who I think is going to get more work, but even against Denver D, I'm not a fan of it. So go ahead before I say anything else.
We got to be careful now, guys. We've got two B-Robs.
It's Brian Robinson.
It's Brian Robinson.
Most people aren't calling Bijan B-Rob. I know.
Yeah. No, I remember from the Gilded chat.
You know what?
That's what it was.
At least for this week, I'm going to say H-N. Maybe next week I'd say somebody different when you start getting Jeff Wilson back. Maybe Ahmed gets back. Those guys get back. But I think if it's only the two this week, most certain H-N.
I'd be benching Brian Robinson against the Eagles defense.
Yeah, me too. He kind of came back down to earth a little bit last week as it is, and then now he has the Eagles. Roshan has an amazing matchup, and I don't care what he wants to be called. A-Chain is way more badass, so I'm calling him A-Chain. I really like the you got to play the hot hand. I mean, I like both of them. I'm going to start both of them with Walker.
Just for side note, Sleeper just announced Ezekiel Elliott is expected to get starter reps against the Cowboys today in a revenge game.
It's no surprise.
Yep. I benched Ramondre in one of my leagues already. For A-Chain. I-Chan, actually.
Can we just call him have you guys watched The Boys? Can we call him A-Train and just get it done with?
Yeah, I feel like he missed out on that kind of opportunity with the A-Chain.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys definitely talked me into it. B-Rob playing against the Eagles. I would start A-Chan and Roshan, and I'd obviously leave Walker in. So those are the three I'd go with as well. Brandon Williams says, O'Connell, Mack, or Stroud? I'm going to start with Justin. Yeah.
Man, yeah. I want to go with O'Connell because of the matchup. I really do. Mack has a tough matchup, but man, that defense was exploited last week. I think I'm going to stick with O'Connell. It sounds like you're in a tough spot. You're going to play the matchups. You're going to hope that he can get it up there to Devontae for a touchdown or two and salvage your day. I think all of them have a roughly low floor this week. So go with O'Connell.
Yeah, look, O'Connell has. If you want me to be honest with you, he has the better options to throw to. I mean, we probably could all say that and everything. And I do look at O'Connell to evenly distribute out through all the receivers. You guys sit there and think about it. He was the third string QB and stuff like that. So he's probably been playing, throwing the ball to probably more opportunities with Renfro even and everything. So I do like O'Connell evenly distributing the ball and having a good game against the Chargers defense. They got a lot of players that are out. Derwin James is out. Bosa is going to be out. So, man, this is an easy answer for me. It's O'Connell.
And
hey, I agree in general. Also, a thing to consider, especially a situation like this, and a lot of scoring systems in different leagues can be different, is how badly does your league penalize interceptions? I'm in some leagues where, like, Scott Fishbowl this year doesn't care. And so it's like, okay, great. Fire up O'Connell. I don't care if he throws 4 interceptions, but if he throws 40 times for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, that's great. I'm not getting any of the downside. So, in general, though, I agree with everything that's been said about O'Connell. Yep.
And it'll make it. I'd love to say Stroud here because he's played very well over the last couple of weeks for a rookie, and it kind of goes to the same as what we're saying with O'Connell. He's gonna be behind. Well, Stroud's probably gonna be behind here. He's gonna end up having to pass the ball a lot. They're playing a bad offense on the other side of the ball, so maybe not. But I am gonna go with O'Connell, though. It's hard to sit a guy who's got the hot hand in Stroud.
If I'm going to rank these, Mac is actually my second one. I think there's a lot higher chance than maybe we're giving credit of the Patriots being behind and having to keep up. Very similar like what Mac did against the Eagles, right? And we saw the Cowboys defense. Maybe they got it figured out this last week because since they've lost Trevon Diggs, but they did not look right against the Arizona Cardinals last week. I would not put it past Mac actually ending up with most points out of this group. I am leaning towards just going with O'Connell for the upside, but if I had to rank these, Mac is very close behind.
All right, and so we all did say O'Connell, and then we're arguing over second place now, so we'll move on to the next. Emmett says, Emmett does everything good. My guys, wish me luck. My dad is coaching my game today, so good luck, Emmett.
Man. Good
Prayers up.
You'll need it with your dad doing that.
He loves you very much.
He does. When he gets angry because somebody does the wrong thing, just understand he's your dad and he's trying to get you guys to win.
After you get a goal, just hit the gritty. I'm sure your dad will be in a better mood.
There it is. Bobby Ham says, multi-layered question: Saints D or versus Tampa, Browns D versus Baltimore. If your answer is Baltimore, should I start Justin Fields or Danny Dimes over Lamar? Drop other DST or Roshan for other QB.
So why does, if the answer is the Browns over Baltimore, matter?
If he's starting the Browns defense, he doesn't want to start Lamar. He's hoping Lamar has a bad game and the Browns defense scores points. He's looking for the most optimal here.
He doesn't want his QB to play his D.
So that tells me that he needs high upside.
But I think we're coming at it backwards here.
Yeah.
Really, the reasoning is Lamar going to have a bad day against the Browns, and that should then tell you which one between the Saints and the Browns you should pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to start my best players at whatever spot it is, and I think with Deshaun being out, with the human predator being out, that actually doesn't bode well either for your team defense most of the time, because now the field possession is all skewed and time of possession is going to be against the Browns. Most likely, I would imagine. I think Baltimore's defense steps up. I'm probably going to go with the Saints here for that reason. And then and then Lamar against the Browns. I mean, they're going to be flying. They're going to finally have an opportunity to play the game that they want to play, I think, being that their defense should be able to have some control over that offense. I love the matchup for Justin Fields, but I think I'm still gonna give it to Lamar one more week.
Yeah, look, I never, when I got a QB going against my defense in any of my fantasy lineups, I never bench him. You can't think and you can't play that way. Look, just because they're playing the Browns defense, look, I know there's receivers that are going to be out and everything for Baltimore and everything, but look, Lamar can still run the ball. This bodes for him more maybe running, and I'd rather have that running stat than a stat after in this kind of situation, because the kid is going to run a little bit more probably this game if that's the case.
Yeah, I think at least 2 leagues this week where I picked up the Buccaneers defense in anticipation of the Saints not having Carr. And then I'm also was looking to start Jameis Winston. So sometimes you don't have optimal and you just have to shoot for one of these is going to work out and I'm going to get points.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jameis threw 30 and 30, right? Like, he can throw a bunch of touchdowns. That's good for Jameis. He can still throw a bunch of interceptions. That's good for your defense. Like, that kind of thing can happen. Lamar can fumble or throw a bunch of interceptions. He can also run it in from, having the Browns quarterback fumble the ball down in their end, and then the Ravens get the ball inside the 20 and Lamar takes off. That's a thing, right? I still personally, I think I go Browns defense. You can't bench a defense like that who's been playing really well. I think they'll get turnovers. I think they'll get sacks. So even if they end up giving up those points that you think, they may end up giving because of the negative time of possession, because of the negative field position they'll end up being in potentially, with their offense being worse this week. I still like their defense. They're still probably one of the best. They're probably still the best in football, I think. I'm playing Justin Fields this week. This is the last true shot for me before he gets benched. He's playing Denver. If they can't get it going this week, they won't get it going. But having Justin Fields with his rushing abilities playing against a team that just gave up 70, I can't bench him this week. So for me, it's Fields and the Browns. And if you had to drop a team, I mean, yeah, I dropped the Saints defense to pick up Justin Fields if that's what I had to do to pick him up. I wouldn't drop Roschon Johnson.
No.
Not with the running back landscape the way it is. It's been bad so far, but I'd much rather have a running back than the
I think I would start Roschon Johnson over Justin Fields this week. I think if anybody's going to break out this week, it's going to be him. This is going to be the game. We're finally going to see it.
All right, Bobby Hams says Ayuk, Sutton, or D-Hop. Well, Justin, I know you're taking the middle one out completely,
dude. So all right.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yes, it's never Sutton, but if it's ever going to be Sutton,
it's Sutton,
it might be Sutton. So Ayuk, we know he's still playing with an injury. D-Hop hasn't been D-Hop, or at least D-Hop has had Tannehill. So I might actually play Sutton this week in this with the matchup, but man, this is a tough one. I really want to believe that Ayuk. You know what? Let me look at the most recent Fantasy Doctors update on Ayuk and their concerns real quick. And
between him and Debo, he's more ready to go than Debo.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Oh, here it is. Brandon Ayuk. They said that they think that it's a type 2 to type 3 AC sprain when they compare that to other injuries of the same position. Typical players usually dip. You can expect a dip in his stats until week 7 with that type of AC sprain. So that was what I had read that I was concerned about. So I think I'm going to still go with Sutton this week just because of the matchup and see what happens with Ayuk with his injury.
Hey, Rich, can you write down what time? Can you write down 10:56 for me, just so we can isolate Justin saying I'd go with Sutton, and we can use that in a loop whenever he's not on the show?
He hasn't been bad this year. He's been a decent wide receiver too. He's not what everyone always hoped, but he's been better than his bad stretches last couple of years.
Yeah, but Jason's still a jerk.
I am still a jerk. Like, every time there's a call of Sutton going forward, we'll have a clip of Justin saying, I'd go with Sutton.
It might be Sutton.
It might be Sutton.
I think that's the clip.
Josh, do you agree with him? It might be Sutton?
It's so hard with Ayuk because I think normally Ayuk would be the smash here, but with that, was that 7 weeks out, or were they already specifically tailoring that to him and his?
No, they're saying you can expect a dip in his stats through week 7.
So his week 7, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's only a week into this recovery, and it's going to be another 3. So I guess I would go Sutton.
Yeah, look, you don't want to. I don't think you want to try Ayuk. Look, Sutton's healthy. All it takes is for one fall on that shoulder again in the middle of the game first quarter, and all of a sudden you don't have him for the rest of the game. So I think this look. I don't know what else you got for anybody that has IU, but let's set him this week and everything. Play Sutton, and I would even play D Hop over IU for this week.
Yeah, I'm playing Sutton. I would not play D Hop pretty much over either one of these guys. It's just been bad for them. It's a low passing offense, and then Tannehill's looked worse and worse. They can't get the run game going. If they can't get the run game going, nobody's scared of the pass. So I'm pretty far down the line on D Hop. So it would definitely be Sutton, Ayuk, and then D Hop third for me. But we will, let's see, get back to the questions. Then we answered that with Ayuk. Brandon says Sutton or Kyron Williams. Justin, I'm going to let you go. Every time we get a Sutton, or Kyron.
This one's way easier. It's Kyron Williams. So listen, I know I'm a Colts fan, and I know that statistically the Colts have had a pretty solid defense this year for the most part, but I've also watched the games very closely, and we've had a lot of really lucky breaks, a lot of really lucky bounces fall our way on that defense. This is a powerful offense that can exploit the Colts defense, and I'm not feeling overly confident this week against any Rams players. So I'm starting pretty much every Rams player I have this week.
And Rich.
Yep. This time Kyron, look, running back. Like I said, he's got himself stamped into that offense to where he's the lead back there, and you roll with him when he has great matchups.
Josh, you think the same thing?
Yeah, I'm going with Kyron just for the upside touchdowns. He's going to get you at least, I think, what Sutton can.
All right, and that'll be all four of us. William, full PPR. Collins or Ayuk for flex?
Nico.
Yep.
And that'll be 4 for Nico. Now, Dustin's bringing back the old question for us because I should have been more clear. I need to start one, Achane or Roshan. I can't start B-Rob because of my loyalty for Philly. I think he's saying he can't not start B-Rob because of his Philly loyalty. Or no,
I think B-Rob was already out.
Yeah, okay.
That's who he is replacing. He just needs to know which one. He can't start 3, apparently.
Copy. I mean, I said Achan, but I think Justin said Roshan.
No, given the other situation, I think my explanation might have been why he has to rephrase it. I think I would still go. I'm still saying A-Chain. I don't care. I'm still going A-Chain over Roshan. But even though I believe in my heart that Roshan's is going to have a big week, like you can't go based off of that unless it's like a tie, and I don't think it's really a tie here.
I'm going A-Chan because it's like saying someone called me, like my last name's Gonzalez, and say, "Hey, Gonzalez." Come on, man. I want my name pronounced right and spelled right.
Hey, I've been called Steffens a lot, and I don't care.
Calm down, Steffens. We you guys watch Coming to America? His mama call him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. I'll call him Achan. Look, I do find it weird. I do find it odd that he let it go all the way through the off season, all the way through draft season, all the way through the preseason, and now he has one big game and he's like, you know what? Call me by my real name now.
He
after that many yards, he
finally had the clout to make that demand.
Yeah. It took a game against the Broncos, but he's like, okay. Obviously, Debo over Dameon Pierce and Zay Flowers, but if Debo doesn't go, I don't have a pivot unless I drop someone for any of Giants wide receivers or MVS. So do I just start Pierce or Flowers?
Man, I don't know if I'm starting. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase this. Go ahead real quick as I readjust something real quick.
I don't think it's obvious. It's obvious at all. Pierce does not have a terrible matchup. And I'll double check that. Yeah, he's playing the Steelers, not bad at all. And Flowers is I don't want to say he's a smash, but Bateman's out. They've obviously have running back issues. It's going to be an Andrews. I'm all over Andrews and and Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I think I start
Start them
Zay Flower.
both.
I go ahead and
Bench-
start.
Bench Debo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
It like you said. I mean, he is definitely playing, but he's still coming off of an injury. So, yeah, I can agree with that.
He's not getting that rushing work that we saw in those last few games.
Not when
And
he's hurt. I mean, it's doing it kind of got him hurt, right? Like too many plays, too many. It just he's not
it's
built that way.
Killing my my bingo cards on Rival by him not getting not being there to be able to get rushing attempts.
I love those rushing yards.
Yeah, that's
Speaking-
joinrival.com/title tribe, by the way.
So you can get Mike
Speaking of
Evans
Rival.
rushing yards.
Speaking of Rival, why don't you talk about Rival just a little bit, Justin?
Yeah, so joinrival.com/title tribe. It's the new evolution in fantasy sports gambling. So we have the opportunity for you to your first deposit of up to $200 will be matched. Then they're also going to give you an additional $25 just for joining through that link, joinrival.com/title tribe.
And while we're there, let me also mention toiletstitles.com for all of your fantasy and NFL needs. We've got stories and rankings and links to these videos there. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe. It's youtube.com/toiletstitles. Follow us. You'll get every single live video. You'll get all the recorded videos. You'll get everything we put out. youtube.com/toiletstitles. Like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Twitter at toiletstitles. So that is a little bit of housekeeping. George says, "Good morning, fellas. I appreciate you needing 2 people to replace me." Well, that's because you're so loud. I needed 2 people to bring the noise. And then George mentions, and we can do this later if we've got a minute or two, you can only have one breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then he said no cheating by saying breakfast for dinner, Jason, which I would do because breakfast for dinner is the GOAT. But we can do this later.
No,
he just
we need to do it now because I'm getting ready to get off. So, does he mean you can only choose one of these 3 meals?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then
Which is your favorite of the 3?
It's got to be dinner. I don't even really care for breakfast or ever really eat breakfast, and then lunch is always boring. So it's got to be dinner.
I've got a better. I'll go ahead and go next. I haven't been going second, so I'm going to say lunch. You're absolutely wrong, and here's why. When you go to a place, most of the time at lunchtime, you can have breakfast or you can have dinner. Now, I know he said you can't have breakfast but also the best thing about lunch, especially when you go out to eat, is it's always cheaper. I'm a cheap ass. When you go to lunch, you can always have the dinner food with just a little bit less for half the price.
Yeah, but see, I work from home, so I'm making my own foods anyway. So,
well, I mean, I'm sorry that you don't. I'm sorry you can't live your best life, but
just as cheap.
Good for you.
A nice crock pot meal for dinner.
Meanwhile, for lunch, the thing we talked about last week, where you can eat foods out of a can. What better time of day besides lunch is it to eat ravioli or beefaroni out of a can?
Or tuna.
So
yeah,
I'm taking lunch. Josh, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit with you. I prefer more of a brunch, like a nice big brunch. Like skip early breakfast and just go with a giant brunch, and that carries you all the way through like the rest of the day. Basically, I actually basically lost a bunch of weight just doing that. And it's like you said, it's cheaper and it's good food because you can get whatever you want for a big breakfast. I assume what they're trying to say is more like the timing of the meal, not the content of the meal, but at the same time, like they're violating both of that. So the question itself, George, is a little weird here. So I'll say breakfast actually, because I prefer to have like the late breakfast and get that over with. And I prefer the breakfast foods. Like I know where Justin's going with the boring lunch. The lunch food typical lunch food is a little boring, but that's why you got to go with a late big breakfast.
And then Rich.
I am breakfast. Very simple.
Well, that's, you know what?
He eats Frito chips for breakfast.
You know what? That's Rich's. I'm Batman. I'm breakfast.
I am Groot.
I am Groot. All right. Dustin says, is Hoyer... oh, yeah, we answered this in the chat. It is O'Donnell, is not Hoyer, which was a surprise to a lot of people who picked up Hoyer thinking they were going to get a starter this week. And then Black Body Absorber screaming because Zeke's going to get some touches. Stevenson, DJ Moore, Myers, Rashad White, Mims, Dotson need a running back 2 and 2 flex. So we need 3 of these, but he needs a running back out of Stevenson and White. So, Rick, I haven't started with you in a while. Stevenson or White?
I am actually going to go Stevenson in this matchup. Look, White. Yeah, I like Rashad White. He's playing against the Saints defense. Their defense is pretty stout and everything. Stevenson, even though Zeke is going to get a good workload and stuff like that, this is a good opportunity where maybe less catches is more efficient for him. So I really do like his opportunity. He can still catch the ball out of the backfield. I'm still leaning with Stevenson due to the fact that I drafted Stevenson over Rashad White.
All right, and Josh?
Yeah, I'm going to go I'm with Rich on this one. Stevenson between those two, it is very close, but I think Stevenson has a better shot of pulling out something. But White's been able to pull out some touchdowns, so he might have a very inefficient game, but just win this out and with touchdowns when it's all said and done. But I'll still take a chance on Stevenson.
And Justin.
As far as the other, he still needs.
Hold on. We'll get there. Let's get to Justin. We'll do the one we have to do first, and then we go back and close it out.
He does them one at a time. That's how I know that I'm confident that I'm still starting both of these running backs. But I think it's probably Rashad White for me in this particular situation. I think they want to feed Zeke and let him have his rival game, and so I'm going to go with Rashad White as my RB2 between these two.
So are we all starting the running back as the second? Let's just raise hands and say.
Yeah.
No, that's 3.
Well, he said he needs 2 flex.
Well, as the first flex, are we doing both running backs? Josh says, so we're doing a running back and then we're doing a running back as a flex and then we have to choose. No, so Josh is a no there, but Rich, you're doing both running backs?
Yeah, I'm doing Stevenson and White.
Okay, so 3 of us are doing Stevenson and White, which means we only have one spot to argue over. Is why I'm doing it that way, Josh. I know you're looking confused. But
I got you now.
We've got one flex to argue over, so I'll start with Josh since he's on it now.
Well, I think if you were going to do 2 running backs, Myers is the third, either way among what's left. Personally, though, I would just pick the one running back and then Myers, and then I'm rolling the dice with Mims. I'm going with it. I want that big game.
Justin.
No, I want DJ Moore in this one. I think. I like the matchup. I just like DJ Moore. Period. Like Johnny on the spot, always there. Myers scares me a little bit because of the quarterback situation. Mims scares me a little bit there because of the quarterback situation. but no, for me, the 2 running backs are the must because I'm always a running back heavy guy in any format. So, and then it's DJ Moore.
All right, and Rich.
That's it for me, guys. I need to get out of here, but appreciate your
Feel
help.
better, Justin. Enjoy football.
Yeah, look, I'm playing